day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, for we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever. Amen. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councilman Roberts. Here. Councilwoman Fay. Councilman Riley. Here. Mayor Haywood. Here. President as well. Who's taking minutes with
She's back in the back.
Me.
Okay.
Virginia is on vacation. She'll be back in a day or two. One of the ladies, she and Dawn went to Charleston. One of her daughters had a baby there Friday, and so they've been down.
Okay, take a look at the agenda. If you are okay with it as is, as published, we need a motion to adopt the agenda as published. So moved. We have a motion? Second. A motion and second, show of hands. That's unanimous. Okay, we need to adopt the minutes of the April 28th meeting, the one that was tabled at the May meeting. Did you get the chance to look at that one, Faye?
Yes, I did, sir.
All right, good. So we need a motion to adopt it if you found everything in order. So moved. Sorry. Motion second, show of hands. That's unanimous. We need a motion to adopt the May 13th regular meeting minutes. So moved. There's a motion, a second? Second. Motion and second, show of hands. That's unanimous. The clerk's report.
Yeah, I'll have a list of things there to report from Virginia. Very happy. Listed a number of things that assisted with conducting interviews. We've interviewed a number of people from different positions, street department, utilities. She obtained price quotes from various departments, including tires, parts, chemicals, and that kind of thing. Continued training accounts payable clerk, Guida, and submitted documents for on-the-job training program. Met with attorney to discuss issues regarding city business. Compiled 2024 year-end reports for county firm. Completed compliance reports for credit card and machine usage. Coordinated with Jason Oliver to obtain internet for transition at the police department. Attended training for changes in upcoming election, which will be in qualifying is going to be in August, and October will be advanced voting, and November 4th is election for 2 council seats. Submitted updated census for mandatory coverage for first responders through GERMA and for PTSD program. Compiled information from FEMA report, and that has been ongoing for quite some time to get all of that done, and we're still, I know, told you a little bit about that. Coordinated with code enforcement to address issues within the city. New code enforcement's been busy. Advertised reminder in the newspaper to remind citizens that chipper cannot have limbs more than 3 inches in diameter. And that is running now, so that is continues report. Any questions, answers? Whatever.
I was the accordance to qualified for this.
Pardon me?
I was the what?
I don't know exactly. That'll be announced, but I'm not sure exactly when. It's usually runs the 21st, 22nd, that for about a week there. I think specifically, it'll be qualified to be open from a Monday to a Wednesday or something like that. There'll be plenty of that's an awesome.
All right, thank you. Any departmental reports?
You say good afternoon. We have 2 reports, 1 report for this month, 1 report for last month. Just to go. Everybody get 2 sheets. They should be together. Maybe in June. I'll pass that to start with our May, go back and start with our May, meeting. In May, we was moving, getting stuff situated, so, we hadn't had everything. What we need at council meeting, so, we're bringing the report as we stated, that we're bringing it to them today. All right, our May council meeting report for the month of April, we had 197 911 calls, 9 citations written, 59 road citations, 5 registration. Come on, flock cam, 3 no insurance, 1 suspended tag, 1 suspended revoked license, 14 speeding, 1 possession of marijuana, less than an ounce, and 11 other traffic violations. 4 arrests, and we had 1 warrant that was written. That's why I received stolen property. We have for this month, June, May stats. We had last month 138 911 calls, 109 citations written, 52 of those with expired registration, 8 no insurance, 8 suspended registration, 2 revoked license, 1 no license, 5 speeding, 2 possession of marijuana less than an ounce, 2 license required to distribute alcohol. So you all know we had the Department of Revenue came and they did an undercover sting and got 2 of our stores, well, actually 3 stores altogether, and 2 arrests that was made. 2 of the stores didn't have a license up to date to sell from the city, and 2 of the other locations sold to underage, and so the underage sales was ticketed. They'll have to go up to Atlanta for court, or down to Macon for court, and they'll have to face here in the city court, pay a fine. And the other 2 will have to also face here in city court and go to Macon for court as well. But the sale of alcohol to a person under 21, we had 2 of those as well. Other violations were 25, 6 arrests, and 2 warrants for criminal damage to property. This summer, we're looking to do a couple of things with kids. Pop with a cop, which is ice cream with a cop. So we'll have different settings we'll go throughout the city doing that. With the kids, we're going to collaborate with the football team, do something with them this summer. And also have a rally, back to school rally that we did last year. So it's time for them to go back. But that's our report from the police department.
Thank you. Any other department to report?
Yeah, I got a street department, report, whatever, clear 12 lift stations, vegetation, spray, weed killer to control grass, place 0 turn mowing shop, repair trash, drive shaft, assisted police department with installation of signs, scheduled replacement of windshield, and chipper strut due to leak, assisted with water main break on Parkway Drive several times, assisted with gas line repair on John T. Irvin Drive, assisted with gas line repair on Highway 15 and Old Galilee Road, completed tune-up in Dodge Ram 1500, Ford F-150, and Dodge 2500, assisted homeowner in emergency due to failed storm drain in driveway until city can complete the repair. That's over there on Jimmy Kennedy. And then repaired washed out road at DC Florida. I got some pictures there. She should have there in the report. And that's street park.
Alright, water treatment plants, they pulled roughly 1 million gallons per day from the lake, and what went to town was actually around 0.79, which is really good. That's the lowest we've seen in years. I've got to pull the records, but we know that's at least pre-2019 levels. So we're slowly chipping away at basically where all these leaks are in town. Alright, EPD did issue us a formal letter for the water department for where we had all those leaks in January due to the freezing temperatures and all the lines busting. So we basically sent them a letter back explaining the situation of, we've already fixed the lines, we've seen our numbers steadily getting better. Okay. We applied for our backwash permit this month, and we're meeting with the EPD on June 17th to discuss it and any changes. The only change we noted in it so far is we're going off of fecal coliform to E. coli for testing, and that is a standard that's going across the state, so there's no discrepancies on our end with that. We do have one employee that is out at medical leave at the water plant. He'll be out for 4 to 6 weeks. We have other staff covering his shift in the meantime, so a couple people are rearranging shifts and may have a little bit of overtime. 10-man's transmitter's been having some issues. It is honestly from the 70s. It cannot be calibrated. We have managed to get it within a 2-foot reading. It was reading greater than 5 to 10 feet at times. So that's something we are looking at replacing here in the next few months and getting that up to par. Because that's gonna cost us a couple thousand right there. Hopefully that'll fix the issue of the misreading. So we've made adjustments with the water plants where they know based off numbers what it actually is. Alright, all operations outside that remain normal for the water plant, and it was a fairly calm month for them. Let's do that, because the guys got me superstitious now. Alright. Water distribution side, they have 39 work orders. I'd like to point out, this does not include any rereads. This does not include our hydrant flushing we do every week, and this does not include our routine lift station checks. These are work orders that come from the public or some issue found in the system. We have 5 main breaks. I'm sure you can guess, they were all on Parkway. And have you talked to them about Parkway while I was out, Emma?
No, yeah, well, we did during the,
Work
work
session?
session.
Yeah, so we're working on that right now. I'll hopefully have some better updates for you with that next month regarding actual prices. But right now, we're guessing around 200,000. Okay. 22 Woods Lift Station has some major repairs done during it. We did new check valves, impellers, suction pump, globe. We rebuilt 2 motors on it now, because as soon as we sent one off and had it come back that same day, the next one went down. And we actually just had Gilbert Lift Station go down today too, so we've been out working with it all day as well. Because it went down with the storm, and we suspect lightning hit it, since it was actually barking at our guys this morning. Yeah, it's been a fun day. Alright, we did hire one person for the water distribution side, Johnny Lee Dye. He's been on the job for 2 days, so hopefully next month I'll have basically an update for you with how he's actually doing. Alright, we are installing the new electrical panel covered by insurance at the main lift station tomorrow. After that, we're just waiting on the pump, and that's gonna take 16 to 18 weeks to arrive. Yeah, that's fast tracking it. It comes from Germany. Alright, wastewater side, that's where you're gonna see the most updates right here. If you flip through your report, you can actually see the storage pond liner and see photos as it went in. And we have that storage pond that's been down for over a decade back in service now. So we now have about 10 extra days of capacity. So when it rains, I'm not out there. If it rains 3 days in a row, I'm not spending a whole month playing catch up. Now we've got time. You'll also see our ground well report on here. They finished updating our ground wells. We now, instead of having 14 ground wells, have 7 thermometers. So that's a lot easier on our staff. And we just pulled the first reads off of them. We're just waiting on the results now. And next month, we'll actually pull our E. coli off, and then we'll see how big a difference this made for our system. And we should be in a lot better compliance with that, because our big issue's been those ground wells. Alright. They are still dredging aeration pond 1. We're currently calculating the numbers, so I can have an update for that next month. We did have a sewage spill at wastewater, the lift station down there. The bypass pump had a failure, and we spilled roughly 840 gallons. It did not hit state waters. It was contained within the lift station, but EPD was notified. Okay, float on the inflow bar screen, which basically tells it to go on and off failed, and it was replaced as well. Pump 3, which is our new field pump, which puts out roughly 1,800 gallons per minute. That system is so old, our electrical components are just starting to degrade over time. equipment going. His recommendation is to redo it in the long run. So that's something we will be putting in the budget for upcoming and possibly next year. Natural gas side, this is where the fun items happened this last month. I'm sure as you heard from Alan, we've had a few people hit the lines, mostly the same company over and over because they keep jumping outside their locates. Each time they hit a high pressure line, and honestly, they're lucky they did not get hurt or they did not kill somebody, because they took a saw right through it. So we've got everything fixed now, but we will be billing them for it, and it is gonna be several thousand, to put it nicely. It took a lot of staff out there, we had to call in contractors, there was a lot involved. We hope they are done and won't have that happen again, because we have been fighting with them over it.
Had to close Highway 15 twice.
Mhm. They were lucky they didn't kill somebody. They really were. Cause there was a few points, we were honestly scared with the staff. Cause we had high pressure blowing out and they were over there in the hole trying to work. And I'm not kidding when I said we had fire extinguishers standing by on top of them to make sure in case something happened. Alright, Public Service Commission just did our first inspection. We did have a few violations from 2020 to 2023, mostly regarding our public awareness plan. So, we've already addressed that with them, and we're gonna have a meeting with them, but they are giving us a $5,000 fine off of it. And they said if we meet with them, explain our plans forward, hopefully they'll be able to waive it. So, I can't make any promises, but that's what we're gonna do. We've already worked on improving it, we've already done several public awareness items. We are moving forward. Okay, we've been steady working on replacing meters and basically painting them up. We've been focusing on Highway 15, Cody Johnson, Industrial Park, and the prison itself. Okay, you'll see a bunch of gas line markers now throughout town and on the highway. In other words, keep people from hitting the lines. The rule of thumb for gas is normally you stand at one, you should be able to see the next one. And there should be one at all crossroads, railroad crossings, and groups. Okay, we did just purchase a new service truck for the gas department, so they will have everything in it loaded and ready to go in case of the next emergency. And it's also gonna be able to pull our equipment, which is gonna be a bonus, because right now, we are very limited on what can pull. We're still working on purchasing tools, as we have a lot needed for our gas department. And we had several staff members attend a training for locator training last month and get certified on it, and we're working on expanding that because we're trying to get backups in place. I wanna have at least 1 to 2 backups for every position is the goal. I prefer to have as many as possible, people cross-trained, but we need people, if one person's out, somebody else can step in. Alright, the animal shelter. Our staff kept working and doing their usual jobs, cleaning, giving medication, bathing, nail trimming, whole caboodle. Alright, we actually attended a networking luncheon with other shelters and exchanged ideas and resources. And it was actually helpful, because as you'll see in a second, we actually got a bunch of donations this month from that exchange. We had $200 in toys donated. We had over 400 pounds of dog food donated. That's gonna feed our dogs for a while. We had beds, blankets, treats, which by the way, if you wanna donate, my staff hound me every day for dog treats. That's where they're really requesting lately, because most people donate food, not treats, and that's how we help train the dogs and get them more social and get them to do those cute little tricks, walk on the leash, things that make them adoptable. Alright, speaking of adoptable, we rescued 1 mother dog and 3 puppies, you can see on the back. They all have mange, but they don't have the typical mange, they have a very specific one. So they're getting treatment, in about 3 to 4 weeks, they'll be ready to hopefully be adopted out or be picked up by another local rescue. We have had interest in them, so hopefully we'll be able to move them out quickly. Alright, the administrative side, we're doing a back to school bash this Thursday at the Department of Public Health right here on Bowling Street. It's gonna start at noon and run to 6. We are focusing on quality over quantity this time. I'm only gonna have about 10 vendors, but we are literally gonna be giving away over 300 backpacks with school supplies, fully loaded, okay? We have visions exams happening. We already have 75 people booked up. We've told everybody, if they don't show up, if somebody's interested, we can slide them in, but right now, we are fully booked. If this turns out well, we'll be able to get this company to come back. That's gonna give them free vision exam and free glasses. Okay? We're gonna be doing the free blood work still, checks. To say sickle cell's actually gonna come out and be doing free testing as well on that. We've got a lot of good resources here. So like I said, it's not gonna have a lot of vendors this time, but they are offering a lot of information and a lot of free stuff you won't get to see at some of the other events. So I highly recommend you come out and attend and get supplies for the kids. Alright. As Alan stated, we are still working with FEMA every week. I was in a meeting with them today before I came here. We just got in another project. We have 13 projects total with FEMA. I've gotten about 6 or 7 in now. I've already got in about $500,000 requested. Today's request we're putting in is about $19,000-20,000 that we just completed today. So I've still got more to go through, but we are chipping away at it. But they said this process can take over a year to complete. And that's not even from paying, that's just doing all the paperwork and moving through. Alright, I've been working with EMI on several projects, which basically includes our wastewater plant, the lift stations, the water plant, distribution lines, updating our maps, working on these sidewalks that aren't ADA compliant, getting our storm drains updated, just anything you can think of around the city, I've had my hand in at some point this month. Alright, we did apply for 2 grants for the fire department. That'll be for thermal cameras, hoods, gloves, and fire hoses. So, we'll wait to hear on that. That was roughly $75,000 worth of supplies requested this last month. An EPD came out and inspected our old landfill site. 3 issues were noted. Trees around the pond, which we're gonna actually uproot, remove so they can't grow back. Trash in the wood line, which we told them that's gonna be hard to get to with how overgrown it is, something we'll just have to work on periodically. And then there were some bare spots on the old landfill mines, so we'll just reseed them. And that is the report for this month.
Thank you, and I know, all the work, there's a lot of paperwork involved, a lot of meetings, and I see it every day, and, we appreciate your hard work.
Yeah, go agree. What else is there? You got the mayor's report?
Yeah, I talked about a few things at the work session, we have a couple more, here. Attended DCA Rule Zone meeting in Warrenton, last week. Rule Zone, is tax credits are available for, several different things. Unfortunately, they only pick 10 cities every year, to give rural, zone, information or designation or whatever. And, this year Warrenton and Sandspool were both on the list. But it's for job credits. If you create 2 jobs, you get $2,000 per year for 5 years. Tax credits, the state tax credit. If you, in your investment to buy a building, before you rehab it, whatever, you get 25% tax credit for the purchase price. And if you rehabilitate, you get 30% for 5 years. And all that's, but it takes a lot to put it together. We've been working on, trying to work with the, Development Authority's been trying to work with the county, and interest in downtown, refurbishing it, and, being able to, fix some of these, historic properties and see if they're aware of or whatever. Our biggest problem is that 30 years ago, I could have gone and bought one of these buildings downtown and spent $4,000-5,000, open right up. But now, the roof's caved in. You can't meet code with electric, plumbing, whatever. It's just, you can't meet the state requirements that are there now. So the property owners can't afford to do the investments with the Rule Zone. What we're gonna look at is trying to get Sparta, listed next year, the Rule Zone. 2 more years that they'll be designated for 5 years. And so I've been working on that, preparation for that. I'll need to do a number of things, and I'm gonna get some help from Tina Hutchinson with DCA for us to apply for that, because tax credits are good. If you gotta create 2 jobs, that's the one thing you have to do. You can, and that's like 80 hours. You can have 8 10-hour part-time workers can create your two jobs basically in order to qualify. A lot of tax credit involved. Progressive Steps is back this year. That's the summer food program that they give out here. Let's see that or whatever. They started 3 years ago here, and they're back. Started last week, and then they were here again today. We need to get the word out. I'm looking to get these flyers out to these churches because we didn't have the turnout last week or this week that we had all last summer or whatever. So people just haven't gotten where they waited to the last minute to send me this. Like they were coming on Tuesday and they sent it on Friday. So that's the thing. So but we got to get the word out, like for everybody to share that. The city properties downtown, that's another thing that the county commissioners are interested in, is revitalizing downtown because the city is in the county. Sometimes they don't want to agree with me on that, but it is. And there are 43 properties in the business district now on Broad Street. Here, there's still $5,394.83 in past due taxes due on those properties. And I got a meeting with the tax commissioner and with the chairman, county chairman, Adric Ingram, to determine what county taxes are due. And then the county is ready to reinstate the landfill, not landfill, the land bank. And with that in mind or whatever, we'll be looking at that probably on the agenda. We'll need to make a couple of appointments. The city gets 2 appointments to the board, county gets 2, and then the commission chairperson and the mayor picks the chairperson. Looking at Ted Reeves probably being the chairperson. That's just looking at right now. But anyway, we'll get that back in order and we'll start looking towards that. The people that have owed taxes, they can turn those properties over to the land bank and we can go from there. I was named elected District 7 GMA first vice president from July to the 1st to June the 30th, and then I'll move up to district president. Catherine Rice is the commissioner in Augusta because they have commissioners of council members. She is the president this year. I was second vice president last year, this past year, whatever. And Chick Jones from Waynesboro is the second vice president. Carol Coy is Mayor Pro Tem Thompson. She is the third vice president. This position puts me on the GMA board of directors, so I'll have to make a quarterly run to Atlanta for meetings there in regards to that. So it gives us a little clout maybe. I've already reported that the storage tank been approved by EPD, so we're good there. Senator Warnock's staff and Maria Cook set up a Zoom meeting with Home Depot to look at the recreation park. It's actually in the county, but Commissioner Ingram was on the call and I was on the call, and we're going to be putting in for some assistance with benches and that kind of thing. The recreation park is just dilapidated now, and we're hoping to bring that back up and the city participate in that. And that's it.
All right, thank you. You have anything now?
No, sir.
Have anything, Fred? Have anything, Tom? No. All right, the only thing I have is still every first and third Sunday, food pantry is open 10 to 1 next to Road Deal. Any old business?
Yes, we do. I have basically got a resolution here basically where we are, council will need to pass it. We are turning down bids. EMI is handling the bidding process or whatever, but these are bids for the specific wording on it or whatever. It is for the pumps, right?
And it's original station 3.
Yeah, it's the sewer system rehabilitation pump station replacements. And the bids we got in were way over what we were being allotted by GFA. So we need to turn the bids down, is what that was doing, EMI did that, but we need to, I need y'all to vote and pass a resolution, that we're turning those bids down and they're gonna rebid the project. So if I can get a motion to do that.
Right, it's basically a motion to, decline the bids that are over the budget, basically, right?
That's right, that's right. Now, here's the paperwork, anybody wants to look at numbers. So that's it. I mean, that's all it is. I'm getting prepared by EMI and everything. All we have to do is, pass the resolution.
But entertain a motion, if there's any motion to be made.
I make a motion that we reject the bids that are too high for the repair.
What other bids? I see the bid.
You have to pick what everyone can look at.
That's self-evident. The EMI handles the bid process, all it is. It's a lot of stuff, but, yeah, explain it.
Alright, so we've actually put out for bid 3 lift stations. These were 3 that were selected before I come in. And one of them is one that's currently on the emergency pumps. The other 2 do have a little bit of problems, but they're not as bad as some of our others. As you know, we've had several others fail since then. So they put out these 3 bids to do, it was Stubwood, Gilbert, and Highway 22 lift station. The low bid came in around 1.6 million, and that was put in new lift stations and generators. However, since we've had so many issues since the original setup of this grant, the decision's basically been recommended that we need to try to do more lift stations, and instead of just putting out new lift stations, get the rebuild kits and get it rebuilt where we can on those. And we think we could stretch the dollar further that way and take care of these ones. We have 6 right now that are honestly in emergency critical condition. And I'd like to have them addressed, because if we could quit having the guys spend so much time on those every day, we can take care of a lot of other issues that are going on in the city.
Seems like you agree with that.
I do, about to say, because 1.6 was awful high for that. And we actually had 12 contractors interested in this, but only 2 could bid in time, because Smith and Lovelace did not give them their parts quotes until the day prior before it was due. So a bunch of them reached out and said, I wanted to bid, but I couldn't get my bids bond in because I didn't have my quotes in time. So we're gonna basically restructure it a little and hopefully give them, now that they know the appropriate amount of time to get it done. Because the person who was also in that position that was supposed to send out those quotes has now left the company. Told you, hand in a little bit of everything. I'd have to go pull the GFA numbers, I think the
Are we allowed
wastewater
to say?
side.
This is all cheaper.
Yeah, it's all-
Are we allowed to say how much we have budgeted for it?
I don't see why not, it's online, posted everywhere, because the sewer side is 2 point something.
This is all part of the 2023, GFA, it's $4.1 million for water, $2.7 million for wastewater. And it's all designated for different things, you can't use the money for something else, so. But in this case here, since that, of course, that's been 2 years ago, since the money was allotted, on paper, we haven't received the money, because we don't even touch the money, it comes in, goes out on draws, from the bank, but, things have gone up, the cost has gone up, and that's it, when we got these bids, they were over what we can afford to do from the GFA, they would take away from other funds, and we'd have to get permission from GFA to do that anyway. So this is just a formality that, we're going in different directions to still be able to meet cost.
And the rebuilds would obviously have warranties, right?
Yes.
But, everything we do is gonna be,
So we'll entertain a motion, if there's a motion to be made.
I said we have to bid today.
No, we don't have to bid today. What they're
No
basically
bid.
saying is that.
We're not bidding, but I'm just saying,
No, what they're basically saying is, first of all, we're not gonna pay them that money anyway. So what, we just vote and just say that, we don't wanna accept the bid because it's too high anyway.
so it's a formality, is all it is. So I think you already had a motion.
Motion on the floor.
We have a motion on the floor, do I have a second? We have a motion and a second, show of hands. That's 3.
New business, you're up.
So every 2 years we have an election, we do an intergovernmental agreement and ordinance to partner with the county to use the machines for the election. The state law says that, for state provided those machines to the county to the board of elections, they have to let us use them, and they can't charge us for using them. We have to pay any cost associated, but they can't charge us a fee, they can't refuse to let us use them, but we have to do an intergovernmental agreement. The last several ones the county has prepared and sent to us. They haven't done that this year, and I will follow up with them to see if they want to do it or we want it. So we don't have one to approve now, but we'll have one for the next meeting. And then I also have an ordinance. Once we have the intergovernmental agreement, I'll have an ordinance, and I brought the last one just to have, but we did one in 2023 that just says that we're gonna enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the county and the Board of Elections and Registration for the provision of those services. And we'll conduct our own elections, they'll just provide the machines, and there's so many, whatever they're called, the machines you vote on, there's the optical scanners, they provide that, and then they provide the registrar service so that when we need to verify the voting rolls, they have the voter registration that we use. So they provide those services and we do everything else ourselves. But we do enter an agreement to do that, and we'll bring that to council next meeting.
Okay, thank you. City Hall will be closed June 20th in observance of Juneteenth. City Hall will be closed July 4th in observance of Independence Day. The Mayor and Council work session will be at 4:30 on Tuesday, July 8th. Mayor and Council regular meeting will be at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, July 8th. The Historic Preservation Commission meeting is at 5:30 Thursday, June 12th. If you have any citizens input, this is the time to say if you live in the city or the county, and you have 3 minutes. Anyone? Okay.
Everybody. Medaya Shara, I live in the county. A couple of things. One, Prince Rock, I was asked, I did call to Shara, but I was asked if you could change the time on the food pantry to 1 to 4 because a lot of people at church do 10 to 1.
Oh, that kills my whole Sunday.
Well,
Maybe I could do it.
they were saying the more the time is what's keeping a lot of people from supporting it. That's what I was getting back from a lot of the elders.
Yeah, I know, because I noticed that might be true, because I see around 1, everybody
Yeah.
coming in at church.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we could do to 2, because, I still have to play with my children.
Okay,
The whole Sunday.
let's try 3.
We'll try 2. We'll try
2:30. Okay.
2:30.
And then also Marcy, Blessington, and I, we are, because the county did not have the funds this year to do a summer camp, the 2 of us came together, and so we're doing a summer camp at the J.D. Walls gym and using the football field from June 16th through the 27th. And it's $20 for the whole camp. But of course, if a parent or a family cannot pay for it, we're not turning any children away. We are accepting volunteers. All you have to do, I have paperwork here, and then you can scan this barcode, and it gives you how to register as a volunteer. We are doing background checks, which the county is paying for through the Sheriff's Department. We are providing breakfast and lunch through the schools. They've already teamed up with us. It's from 8 to 2 p.m. I have flyers. I have the registration forms for the summer camp children, and I have volunteer and counselor applications. We are offering all of our high schoolers, 9th to 12th grade, to be counselors, and they can also get community service hours from working those 2 weeks. I have all the information here. And then also we are working with all the schools in the county of Hancock, the private John Hancock School, the public school, Head Start. I have a school here. And the homeschoolers, we're coming together August 1st to do a countywide back to school fair. And so we'll be doing book bags, kits. We have vendors that we will have. We're still organizing it, but that's the date so far. It'll be held at the middle school and high school. And we will have school supplies for all the students in the county, whether they're homeschool, private school, or in public school. Because if the public school holds it and they use their resources, they can only give out to public school students legally. And so that was part of our reason to come together, because homeschools, all children, whether they're public school or not, need school supplies. And also the program that Mr. Hayward just spoke about, the meal kit, they also come here in Sparta, but we also, from 12 to 1, we do it out in Beulah, which is up the street from the Beulah stop, or around the corner from Second Beulah Church, on my property, well, outside the gates. Do it from 12 to 1. And each spot each location she uses here, she gives out 100 meals. So I know at my location we did 100 today. We had a great turnout. I know the city is a little slow, but I think as the word continues, I usually try to call people that day, remind them. And so, because one of the churches comes and she usually gets like half of what we supposed to give out. And then we try to give out more milk because she always has more milk than others. But the more the need is, the more she can give out as well. That's it.
Anyone else?
To make more plain than I live in the city, thanks for what you do for opening up your pantry to give to the community. We appreciate that, you know, yeah, we really do. You're welcome. What's the need?
Tony for city and county. I don't know who to ask these questions to. Chief, I see you moved. I don't know, 20-something years ago when I came here, can't answer these questions. We were supposed to, I was told by a lady named Miss Archer, that the police department and the detention center were supposed to be together. Is that right?
Yep.
All right.
That's
Okay.
before my time, but that's my
Well,
understanding.
that was 22 years ago. I've been here. So far, you moved 4 times, right, brother?
Since I've been in it, I've moved twice. But it's not under my power now.
No, I'm just
It's not under my power.
She was like, God,
I don't mean to interrupt you, but we're already on the same page that you're on. As for the sheriff office, the wing of the sheriff office is supposed to belong to the city. We're already on that same page. Now, the problem is coming on the other side. So we have to do what we have to do so that we can have somewhere to do our job.
We got a lawyer here, he can handle it, can he? All right, let me move on. Okay. I know it's not you because you just got here and thank you. But in that beautiful house around there, they call it historic. The only thing about historic about that house is if I was in it, at my age, it'd be historic. So, all right, you got, are you gonna put bars up in that house? You know, because on the paper, newspaper I got the other day, you got all these people, I guess you're arrested. How many? Where do you house your prisoners?
At the county
We
jail.
don't we never held, since I've been there, we never held any inmates here.
You have to pay them or they do it free?
We have to pay them. We have to process them at the police department, fill in front of them, do all the paperwork, then we'll take them over to the jail. So no one is housed there. But, you know, we're doing the best that we can with what we have until the meantime.
I just thought I would, you know, let's talk about it a little bit because when I saw that sign in that beautiful house and then this lady talking about historic, nothing historic about that pretty house. It would be historic if I lived in it because I'm 86.
Yes.
But, you know,
50.
I know, like, I guess nobody has anything to do about how things go, but how is it that you build a building for some people, but they don't live in it? You don't, they haven't given you any answer, right? Well, I haven't got one either, and I've been asking it for 20 years.
She on this.
I can tell you the whole story. It wouldn't take about 30 minutes sometime. I'll tell you the whole thing because I was here from the very beginning. We sold it to the voters that it was supposed to be sheriff's department, right side was the police department, and in the middle was dispatching, jail, and lunchroom. All that. If you look at it from the top, it's a square building. That's the way it was. So it was sold to the voters that way, but I'll tell you why. The city didn't go, the city chose not to go over there. At that time.
You don't
So
know
it
nothing
never
else,
did.
anything else.
So the land's been absorbed by the sheriff's department. But that was the way it was passed by the voters. I can go back and pull the newspapers, I did all the work on it back then.
But, okay, after all these years, couldn't you sell us something else? Sell us something, because, you know, I'm looking at that, you know, when I go across that bridge over there, all that, land back there with all these dead, police cars, and sheriff cars, there's land to add or do something, isn't it? I mean, we spend it,
When we last moved, we saved money.
you save money in this pretty house.
The two times we have moved, we've saved money. We were paying with rent, and then also utilities and everything else. When we were back over there near the food land, IGA, in that thing there.
Mix and mingle.
Right, that's right. And then it was costing us about $2,300 a month, counting everything. The deal they had cut prior to my coming in or whatever was astronomical, and plus we were paying the actual utilities at DFAX. Should have been. We're paying utilities for the whole building. So we moved to where we were, and we moved for $900 a month. And then every year the guy started jacking up the rent $300 each time. So this last time, so we're not doing it. So then we moved to where we are now for $1,100 a month.
Okay, but this,
I'll be back in the police station.
Pardon me?
So we're gonna go back to the police station.
I don't know. It's got to be fixed before we do anything. That's the
You
thing.
know what I'm saying?
You got to have.
It's a valid point though, it's actually a valid point. Will we save money if we went over there, or will we still have rent?
What are you talking about?
If we
At
actually
the Shanghai
moved
County
it
Jail.
to the sheriff's
No,
department.
we've been on rent.
No, that's a valid point. That's a really valid
Yeah, I mean,
point.
listen, that's quick. I mean, listen, I'll show you some editorial.
are you working, excuse me, sir, are you working on moving over there in this building that's already been paid for? Are you working on trying to get it done now? Are you? Well, you doing like that, I guess that means you are.
You want to verbalize?
Since it was passed by the voters. And since I've come in here, I've brought it up 2 or 3 times about consolidating the,
Well, put it on the ballot.
consolidating
We'll
dispatchers,
vote on
but
it.
council voted not to consolidate dispatchers. So that's kind of kept things apart. Now, you know, that's what we need to have. We need E911. When you pick up the phone, call 911, everybody comes. They don't have to turn around and call by phone over to the police department and say you got 911, so and so. So, but all that's, we've been working on that, but it's like we can get against the wall.
Thank you.
I'll fill you in on who's
You know what I've been here all these years. I'm just trying to talk to the people who are involved now. This is a whole new setup.
I was gonna say, this is a setup.
This is a whole, well, setup. I didn't mean it like that, but you know, these are all new people, except me and the lawyer. Me and the lawyer been here, the longest, haven't we? Yeah, I can't even get you on the phone.
Nobody can make it in there. I could do work today.
That's right, AT&T.
Anyone else?
Yes, couldn't call nobody. Yeah.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Thank you, Chief.
Do we have anything for executive session?
At the phone.
All right, so
Yeah.
we have a motion to move into executive session. Motion is second, show of hands,
You bill me a bill,
unanimous.
and I don't stay in.
Thank
Oh,
you all.
excuse me, sir, I'm sorry, sir, excuse me.
No, it's okay. We're going to executive session. If you want to come back after, you can come back and see if we voted on anything that we discussed in executive session.